there was an issue, because of course there's an issue, because that is what it's like dealing with Louis Vuitton as of late. Hey there everyone, it's Jessica from messacademy.com. I'm so excited for today's video because I have a very, very special unboxing for you today. This is a proper vintage handbag unboxing. This is from the original Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami Cherry or Cerise collection from 20 years ago. Now, as we all know, Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami have partnered once again for their 20th anniversary. And in the latest chapter, the latest drop of their collections together, the last of 3, we are seeing the return of the Cherries or Cerise. Now, I have mentioned multiple times on my channel that I have lost interest in shopping the new 20th anniversary collections just based on my personal experience shopping the first drop, and ever since, because of the communication issues. Well, like I said, I've covered it a lot on my channel. Let's not get into it again. But one of the things that has come out of it is that it has reignited my love for these vintage pieces. And don't get me wrong, I have always loved these. 20 years ago, it was the beginning of me discovering brands and fashion and seeing these bags on celebrities like the MTV era and Paris Hilton and Jessica Simpson and all the it girls of that era. That is what it reminds me of. That is the nostalgia that I feel when I see these collections. And again, it just reminds me of how much I loved those collections at that time. And over the years, I have acquired pieces from these collections. So from the original collection, I have a couple of SLGs, but I never owned a handbag. And so when I heard that these 20th anniversary collections were coming out, I knew that the prices for the originals were gonna skyrocket. And listen, don't say I never warned you. I give you tips, I give you recommendations, and one of the things that I mentioned like back in January was that it was the time to shop the Cherry collection specifically, because in the midst of the release of the 20th anniversary multicolor collection, I knew that the prices for multicolor pieces were going to skyrocket, and that soon after the Cherry Blossom and then ultimately the Cerise or Cherry collection. And sure enough, those vintage pieces have gone way, way up in price. So I purchased this back in, I think it was December. I've had this bag for quite a while. And the reason I didn't do an unboxing for this was that I got this right before we went to New Orleans for the holidays. And then when we came back, boom, the first chapter of the Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collection came out. So I was trying to get my hands on the multicolor pieces. And in that first week, after the release, in those first few days, I went to the New York City pop-up location. I did a vlog about it. You guys know that. And I mentioned that one of my favorite things about the New York City pop-up location was that you can get your vintage older pieces looked at by the Louis Vuitton team, and they could replace or fix up your bags, some of which was done for free. Some were fee-based. When I went to the pop-up and I saw that, I went back and I brought this piece for them to look at and kind of give it a new life. That took several weeks, several weeks. Before I talk about exactly what was done, let's do the unboxing and then we'll come back and I'll fill you in. By the way, if you're new here, welcome, bienvenidos. My name is Jessica Flores and I'm a lifestyle creator. I create content about fashion, beauty, DIY projects, luxury, family travel, and so much more. So if any of those topics interest you, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can set your notifications on for all. I make new videos every week, but I don't have a set schedule. So if you have your notifications on, you won't miss a thing. So here it is. This is my Louis Vuitton Pochette Accessoire from the original Cerise or Cherry collection back in 2005. I got a really great deal for this bag. That is why I could not hesitate. I bought it right away because, again, I knew that the prices were gonna go up. So I got her, great condition. It did have a little bit of a smell, but I kind of took care of it. I have like this little pouch with lavender in it, and I stuck it in there, and that smell is almost all gone. If I wanted to try again, there are little tricks that you can do, like you can put coffee in here, but it's not like, unless I stick my nose really deep in there, I don't really pick it up, so it's not a problem. So at the pop-up, you were able to get the strap replaced for free. And so that is what I did. I brought it in and got the strap replaced. And then they also said that they could look at it and let me know what else they could do for the bag. And so I left it there while I checked out the pop-up and went to the Soho boutique. And while I was there, they also explained that they could look into doing more for the bag and then would get back to me on the fees. So I told them that I wanted to get this replaced. And the person who was helping me said that they were gonna look at the bag and let me know what else they could do with it. He talked about possibly getting the zipper replaced, talked about maybe changing the zipper pull. He talked about maybe retouching the cherries. Because like I said, it's in really good condition, but there's just a little bit of wear just in the mouth. Not bad, nothing that I cared about clearly because I bought it. So I was really happy with the condition, but I was intrigued about getting it looking even nicer if it was possible. So the person who was helping me sent me a text saying, for the things that we discussed, it's gonna cost like $186, something like that. And I was like, you know what, why not? The strap, I got the strap. Let's just make her as beautiful as she can be. There was an issue, because of course there's an issue, because that is what it's like dealing with Louis Vuitton as of late. So first of all, there was an issue with the website. You can see your orders on the website when you're in your account. You could also see the things that you are getting fixed. I think they call it, there's like a repair section or something like that. For some reason, there was an error message, and so I couldn't see this bag in my account at all. I call LV and they can't locate the bag, and so I start freaking out because when I left the bag, I didn't get like a receipt for it. You know, they just kind of took my name down in a notebook, and I left my name, my phone number, my email. I got the text from the person, but I didn't get like a physical copy of anything. I talked to my husband about this, but it's kind of weird what we allow for these designer luxury brands to like do to us, treat us, that we wouldn't accept from anywhere else. If I were bringing like sneakers to a spa or something and I need a receipt. I need some proof that I left something of value before I walk out of it. But it's Louis Vuitton, and you don't want to like embarrass yourself or just feel awkward or weird. And so even though I normally wouldn't, you know, accept that from, like I said, any other store, if I'm making a return, I need a receipt. When I drop off my Poshmark sales, I scan them so I have a receipt that I did drop it off, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I didn't do any of that. So for a little bit, I was freaking out that there was like no record of me dropping off this bag. This bag disappeared. I have no proof that I left this bag. I did film the process, so I'm like, you know, I have some evidence that I did do this, but then you could just say that I went and got my bag back. So I was like freaking out a little bit. But eventually they did find the bag and just told me that the bag was still off getting fixed and that it would be done in a few weeks. And one thing I have to add is that I wasn't charged when I dropped off the bag, hence no receipt, right? There wasn't any like a physical receipt for a service that I am paying for. They just said that once the bag returns and the work is done, I would pay it at pickup. So When the bag was ready, I got contacted by the Soho store through email saying that my bag was ready and that there was a balance of $186, I believe it was, but it was like under 200. So they sent me a link to pay. I didn't ask any questions. I paid it right away because I was so excited to get this bag back to me because it had been weeks. I never got to wear it even in the original condition because I got it right before Christmas. And then when I got back in January, I went to the pop-up, handed it over. So I was so excited to have this bag. I paid for it right away. But before they shipped it, I said, what work was done on it? And they told me that they looked at the bag and it looks like the strap and the tab was replaced. The bag was on its way to me. I opened up the bag and I confirmed that yes, this was replaced and no other work was done to it. The guy who was at the pop-up, who I gave the bag to, mentioned something about replacing the zipper or like polishing it off or like making it nicer, possibly replacing this zipper tab, possibly touching up the cherries just a little bit. Again, it's not super worn, so it's not like it had a lot that they could do for it, but maybe just clean up the little mouth. That's the only spots that I see really on this, is just that there's a little bit of red coming through in the mouth part. That's it. So I knew it wasn't a lot that they needed to do to the bag. I looked back at the text, and the text that I received saying, hey, for the work that we discussed, it's going to be 180 something, 186. But he didn't list out exactly what was discussed. And again, I probably would not have accepted that from any other retailer. I probably would have said, well, I need it in writing exactly what you're gonna do and how much it's gonna cost. And again, I just didn't do that. So I have no record of what was discussed. Now, I believe it was on Reddit. I saw someone post that they had purchased a vintage multicolor pochette accessoire, and to replace all the vachetta leather, it cost about $700. I knew this bag wasn't going to get that much work because, number one, there's not that much vachetta leather, so it was just this tab for the vachetta leather. So after I had the bag, I emailed them once again and I said, hey, I got the strap replaced for free. So can you just confirm that it was, $182 just to have this replaced? Is that I just want to confirm that that's the cost of this. And mainly I was thinking about creating content. I'm always thinking about creating content and making videos for you guys where I can answer your questions, thinking ahead and realizing that there might be people out there who would want to know how much it would cost to replace the vachetta leather on this bag in case you found a vintage one and wanted to do the same thing that I did, basically. And so I could say, well, I don't know how much it costs to replace a strap because I got that done for free, but to do this, this, and that, it'll cost this much. Just because I found that so useful to know that this person had paid $700 total to replace all the vachetta leather in the multicolor pochette accessoire. I found it super useful. I want to be able to do the same thing with what I did and the information that I have for you guys. So anyway, I wanted that clarification. It never came. They told me that they would contact the person that I originally spoke to at the pop-up who received this, who told me what work that could be done, and they would confirm exactly what I paid for, and if that was just, this is just the price. This is to replace this leather tab, it was $186 and that's it. Or if they had charged me $186 to do any additional work and I didn't get that additional work, although I doubt that. Regardless, never heard back from anyone. I do have the text message with that original person, so there is a thread there and I could probably contact them again if they're still there. Louis Vuitton has such bad turnover. My normal sales associate that I've been working for the last several months, he's gone, left the company. He gave me contact information for another person that he has handed his clients off to, but I don't have a relationship with that person. We've texted a couple of times, but... So anyway, super long story, not short. I paid $200 to get this replaced. And that's it. That is what I paid for. I don't know if I was supposed to get more done for it or if that's just the price to have this little tab replaced. I got this done for free, so that makes me super comfortable and happy with what happened because at the end of the day, I got the strap replaced for free. I mean, I hope that they didn't charge me $200 for the replacement of both of these things because this was supposed to be free from the pop-up, but I don't have any clarification on that. So anyway, there you go. This is my bag. I'm super happy with it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And like I said, I would have paid whatever to have this replaced because this just looked so, like it looked white compared to the dark vachetta. And by the way, I was okay with the patina of the original leather, but the fact that the pop-up was just offering to replace straps, I could not say no. And then I was like, well, I might as well replace this. At the end of the day, I'm super happy with it. I love it. I love that this is an original piece from 20 years ago and in great condition. And I got a great deal on it. And it's helping me not be driven to purchasing from the third drop because I really have little to no interest in purchasing a handbag from that collection because of all of the hassle and irritation and frustration that I felt. I do have like two things really that I would really like. They're smaller SLG type things. If I get them, great. If I don't, I'm fine with it. But no actual handbags this time around because I can't deal with that anymore. This is helping me scratch that itch. I always loved the original collection anyway, in this bag in particular, so I'm so happy to finally own it. And I love it. I love it. Let me know your thoughts on the Chapter 3 drop, on buying vintage. Do you have any questions about buying vintage and how I find great deals online? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, or if I just entertained you for a few minutes, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out here on YouTube. It just lets the algorithm know that my videos are good and worth watching, and it'll push it to more viewers. If you did enjoy this video, then you might want to check out this one. Thank you again for watching. Stay tuned.